Well, Giles, we've got a fabulous day for another episode of LandRoverItis, and it's almost the perfect day to take Moriarty, our fabulous little Series 2 1960 barn find, out for a test drive.
Yes, what a lovely day it is. And how's Moriarty got on since the last episode?
Well, we took a trailered her up actually and got an audience with the off-road and motorsport Land Rover legend that is Pete Rowe.
Ah, yes, we're making a film about him, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. He's an amazing chap, incredible engineer. He was involved in the very early muscle engines in off-road motorsport, and he was one of the leaders in that. He's also an expert in older vehicles as well. And in his library of developments are some amazing vehicles, and they are really going to turn some heads and surprise people. There's a couple that are really surprise people. In the heyday of off-road motorsport and Land Rover, he really was one of the futurists.
I really look forward to finding out more about him. How did he get on with Moriarty?
Well, she was absolutely in the right hands for sure, and he certainly put her through her paces proper. Okay, and here's Mr. Rowe now. Lovely to see you. Now, Moriarty, pride and joy.
A shot for you. You've got one there.
Really?
I don't know why Big Brother invented this bit. This vehicle has type-approved seatbelts. Too old?
Seatbelt?
Didn't need them.
It's fantastic.
Big Brother seemed to think it did.
Wow, so we have.
So you have an electric. There you go.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Take a seat, Peter, Sammy, because that means we get it. So have a little pew for me. Yeah, clearly he'd taken lots of notes of what he'd done and kept records of absolutely everything, but it had been standing. So
Well, there's its last MOT. Come out of the computer's archive, January 2007.
wow.
So it's hardly done a lot.
To preserve the anniversary of the expiry date, the earliest you can present your vehicle for test is 504-216. Fantastic. Well, at least we're on the road.
Yes, you're fully mobile.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
What was the biggest challenge? Was it a problem?
No, not bad. I mean, surprising, really. I mean, electricals were its issue.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
this headlight here
Right.
had these.
Oh, I see.
One of the really old ones, the
Right.
bulb in,
Yeah.
which the chrome had given up.
Right.
It didn't fit its house, as you can see. It had been. So I managed to find a period-ish
Excellent.
Lucas sealed beam, which has got that somewhere near right.
So they both point in the same
They
direction.
both point in the same direction. It doesn't have any matching lights. Whether that
Good,
bothers
good.
you or not, I don't know.
not too worried about that.
it'll-
Well, the brief was that I want to keep it as a rolling preservation. I don't want it restored. I don't want it sort of brought bang up to date or anything. But having gone through the vehicle now, what would you recommend to sort of get a roadworthy road safety?
It's sort of okay, but
Right.
the mirrors are useless. For modern traffic,
Yeah.
they don't really show you anything much at all. Backwards view is not that bright in the lanes. Perhaps
Right.
something better on the mirrors front might be clever.
Can I fold that in half? Is that all right?
Yes.
Yeah, good, okay.
You've got everything else is really surprisingly good, considering. I mean, it's obviously it stood a while.
Yeah.
Something is bound to start messing about. It's got to develop a leak, or something will fall off, or whatever. But I've done 50 miles in it.
Yeah, so you've been having a drive around.
I've tootled around in it,
of
and
course.
it's slowly improving. It's going a bit
How
better.
does she feel? How does she feel to
Horrible.
drive? Really? Good.
Yeah,
Just
it's an old
proper.
Land Rover.
Now, I know you said something as well about wheels and tyres and slightly varying sizes.
It has unmatched tyres front and back,
Right,
which means when in four-wheel drive there's a lot of drag.
right.
The tyres are flat spotted, so it's as it goes round.
But only on the bottom.
Only the bottom, but when the bottom's not at the bottom, it's, when they're in sync,
Yeah.
and you go boink, boink, rather than wobble, so you may or may not want to do something about those.
Right, and how does that work with the fact that one thing we did notice even when we were looking at the start, the springs are slightly dubious. Are they matching at all?
No, not particularly.
Good.
I think they're all odd. They're all fairly solid. Nothing much moves.
No broken.
No broken leaves.
Nothing.
No, needs a bit of work.
Wow.
Series 2 Land Rovers were made from 1958 to 1961, when it was superseded by the Series 2A. They were not all that different to the later Series 1s in many ways. However, the bodywork was completely restyled to give a more rounded and smoother look, and the now familiar barrel sides were used to hide the vehicle's wider track. The truck cab models benefited from improved looks, and new curved side windows gave much improved rear visibility. On the short wheelbase models, the rear sides were raised to match the long wheelbase high sides, which improved the load carrying capacity of the short wheelbase pickup, but more importantly, it standardised some of the components used in both long and short chassis versions. Some early Series 2 short wheelbase Land Rovers were fitted with the 2-litre side valve engine that was used in the last of the Series 1s. However, if you bought a long wheelbase Series 2, you got the new 2.25 overhead valve engine and the new style deluxe bonnet. Once the older 2-litre engines had been used up towards the end of 1959, both short wheelbase and long wheelbase versions were fitted with the 2.25 petrol engine. A diesel model was also offered, using the recently developed 2-litre overhead valve engine that was offered in the last 2 years of production of Series 1s. This engine was one of the first small high-speed diesel engines to be developed for use in small road vehicles. A 2.25 diesel, based on the same block as the 2.25 petrol, was offered in approximately 1962, and later, around 1967, a 2.6-litre 6-cylinder side valve engine was available in the long wheelbase models. Early 2-litre diesel engines were prone to cracking heads, and the 2.25, which replaced it in the Series 2A, was noisy and slow.
That funny. So how did you go? Moriarty.
Actually drove remarkably well.
Really?
Yes, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Clutch biting a little high than I'm used to, but yeah, actually, it's not bad at all.
That clutch is a nice surprise. Isn't
Well,
it?
yes. Yeah, it keeps you on your toes.
Catches you unaware a little bit. It's good. Yeah, I'm really pleased. Engine sounds so sweet.
It does, I agree. Very, very nice indeed. It drove very smoothly, the steering's lovely, everything about it's really amazing.
2.25, love them to bits anyway. Always been one of my favourite engines. Bags and bags of torque. But it's just that one just sounds smooth as silk, really.
Yes.
Of course, after the fabulous Pete Rowe got his hands on her, she got through her MOT, so she's looking really good. Anything you sort of impressed with, or?
I noticed that, just noticed one tiny change, I think, really, and that was you put door mirrors on, I think, haven't you?
We have, yes.
Yeah.
That was after a conversation with Pete, which went something along the lines of, as we know, I mean, the wings do reverb and bounce about a bit, so it does make it a bit of a guesswork when you're going backwards if it's really bumpy.
Yeah.
Because the mirrors do move a lot, and especially these are very long stems. So he'd suggested that I put 90 mirrors on the doors, so I got a better positive view when reversing. And I did say, well, kind of, it's a little bit out of character, isn't it? And it won't be then as original as it is. And he said, yeah, neither will your back end if you do actually reverse into something.
No, well, that's a fair point, yeah.
Good point, and very well made, I felt, yeah. So we went for those, and they're removable, all the hinges are the same, so it's quite good, quite pleased with that.
And you going to change anything else, or are you happy with it as it is?
No, I love my wonky wipers, I'm quite happy with those. They do work when they need to most of the time, and the seats are kind of like, if you remember, they're a little bit tattered and torn, but I think a bit of masking tape will do that.
Yeah, it's that sort of patina, isn't it? The vintage look.
I really want to keep it. And if you remember, if we just walk around the side here, the doors, we had a little bit of a problem with those, but to be honest, I'm just going to leave it as is. You know, this bit's attached where it shouldn't be, but it keeps it stable, and it kind of probably stops it parallelogram, isn't it? No, it's not that bad, honestly. But I do think I'm going to leave her exactly as she is now.
Yeah, well, that's lovely, isn't it? Because you've got essentially a very original vehicle, and it's great that it's survived in its original condition.
Well, I think the fact that it was owned by a nuclear physicist before me was probably the one who kept it really together, very particularly so. But that's Moriarty then ready to go on her travels with LandRoverItis.
Yes, well, we look forward to many more miles on Moriarty and many more miles of film of Moriarty.
Exactly. And I think on that note, hopefully we'll see you back here with LandRoverItis as soon as we can get our next episode even, up and posted.
Indeed. We shall look forward to that.
Well, I don't know about you, Giles, but I think it's time for a cold cider.
Yeah, I think that's a very good
Go on,
idea.
let's go.